Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture. What's that? You don't know what that is? Well, this must be the first time you've ever listened to the show.
Yeah, because we talk about them all the freaking time.
Or you listened to a bunch of episodes and then you just decided to jump to the newest one. You went like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 through like maybe 50 or 130 or something. Then you're like,
that's a bold move.
I'm just going to skip all the way to number 196. And here we are.
Yeah. Also, I didn't mention this to you, Steve, but Sinusoid contacted me directly today, and they want everyone to know that there's going to be crazy things afoot on Black Friday coming up very quick at the end of this week. Ooh. Is it the end of this week? No, it's not. It's in a couple weeks. Black Friday coming up after Thanksgiving. So be on the lookout for stuff from Sinusoid.com on Black Friday.
Sinusoid.com.
I bet they're gonna have turkey flavored cables.
They make cables
and smiles. This episode is also brought to you by the Nocturne Brain, maker of fine pedals and amplifiers.
We've got this pedal from them. Can we talk about this?
We can absolutely talk about this. Hopefully I will have the demo up last Friday, but it might be going up today.
This is the BS301 Mystery Brain.
Yep.
I don't know what any of these things mean, but apparently it's a preamp / digitape echo.
So basically it's a space echo in a box.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's trying to do... The thing I've always been really impressed with my Fez, because I've got a Nocturne Brain Fez, is just how good it sounds. And I know that sounds novel to say about a piece of musical equipment, but I'm saying that there's a certain level of attention paid to the actual tone of it and the quality of sound and the tone tweaking ability of it that I just haven't experienced in many other pedals. And that kind of like theme carries over to this. It's just a tone tweaker's delight. It's a live playing powerhouse because at the beginning of the circuit, there's a preamp. It's the preamp from a, what did I say? A Space Echo.
Space Echo.
A legendary preamp. It sounds fantastic. It lets you push your amp into just warm, gritty goodness. Lots of output there. There's a bass cut circuit on it that allows you to pull those low ends out if you're getting too crazy with the oscillation on the delay side. There's also an ABBY switch, which from what I understand, it sounds like a boost when you use it, but what's actually going on is it opens up the dynamic range of the gain.
Interesting.
So it just spreads it all out. You can get quieter, you can get louder. Does magical things while you're playing. It's a great thing to stomp on in the middle of a set when you want to hit that lead and you've already got the preamp on as an always on, you know? Mm-hmm. But if you don't use a preamp as an always on, you can use it as a boost or a cut, you know, or a tone shaper. So before we even get to the delay side, you're having all these like combinations of tone tweaking that you can just do live with foot tapping, you know? And then you've got the echo side, which is like a really good version of like a Memory Man or like a tape echo sort of thing. It's like hitting a lot of notes in that direction. It's just a really solid 550 millisecond delay that sounds fantastic and plays great, sits in the mix really nicely. It's got a really esoteric and funky modulation to it if you want to get weird or if you just want to have a little bit of subtle warble to your tone. I'm a big fan of this thing. Go check out the demo. It was a ton of fun to play with. I'm really impressed with it. Like I said, go check it out. Go to thenocturnebrain.com. Hey, this is Ryan.
And this is Steve, and you're listening to 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
Yeah, we're back at it.
What up?
We're back in the saddle again.
I don't know what that is.
We're back!
But I like it.
Isn't that a Bon Jovi song?
Who's Bon Jovi?
Good question. Good question.
Oh, he's one of those mom rockers.
He's one of them mom rockers. I feel like I used up all my energy on that intro.
Whoops.
And doing the wheel pedals. I'm spent now. Sitting back, sipping on some scotch.
All right.
Scotch.
This is where I take over.
Take over, Steve. It's
now
your
you'll
show
know what
now.
it's like to be psychologically manipulated. Hey, Ryan. Why don't you ask me what's new?
What's new, Steve?
That's what I thought. I mean, thank you for asking, Ryan.
Of course. Lay it on me, man.
I don't tell me what to do. You're not my mom.
Sorry, sir.
I sold my Tonal Recall this week.
Oh, congratulations.
I had it up for a few weeks. I had some offers.
I feel like I just gave that back to you.
Some offers. It was up longer. Maybe I was just impatient. It was up longer than I wanted. I had some offers that were okay. I had some offers where like I just had to think about it too much, and I was like, ugh.
Did it move faster than that Strat you were trying to move?
I guess technically.
There you go.
So basically, shut your dirty mouth. After I factor out all the shipping and just look at straight up pure profits.
So tell me about them pure profits.
I basically flipped about an $80 flip on that, so that's all right.
Hey, that's pretty good. You only had to jump through like one hoop by swapping a guitar for it.
I had to make a couple hoops. I got that guitar for $130, and then it cost about $80 to ship it.
Yeah,
and then I got that Tonal Recall. But I think the Tonal Recall probably did sell faster with fewer questions to be asked.
Yeah.
Than the Strat would have. So
it's hard to sell kind of like a mid to low value guitar.
Yeah,
online.
I think I could have sold the Strat for more locally, but like the local market's been pretty slow lately.
It has been. A lot of the same stuff has been up forever. I have had all my pedals listed on Craigslist for a while, the ones I've been trying to sell, and I haven't got any bites. I've sold a couple pedals recently on Reverb, but man, it seems like the whole market's kind of grinding to a halt lately. Yeah. I don't know what's up.
So I can't complain about that. It's gone, and it cleared super fast, and I was actually pretty much in a shipment mode already.
Oh, good.
At that time, so it worked out perfectly because of all those things.
Because of all the things that led to the circumstances that concluded in an event happening.
Yep.
Well, this is the part of the show where you ask me what's new.
Hey, Ryan,
Steve.
what's new?
I've been working on the Epiphone SL.
Ooh.
You can see it over there on the workbench.
Yeah, it looks like a real piece of trash.
Yeah, it's a total pile of garbage over there on my workbench.
Can't believe you paid $99 for that.
$99 and hours and hours and hours of work trying to get this thing to play like a normal guitar. I did a video a week or so ago with a little fret rocking tool showing which frets were high. And
it was all of them, right?
I'd say good like 10% of the frets are high, maybe. That's 20,
only like 2 frets.
20%, like 3 or 4 frets are high.
4 frets, okay.
Yeah, so I've been attacking them with a little bit of like a sanding brick that I got and those little fret guards you put around them. A lot of people wanted me to get like the whole like polishing block that polishes a bunch of frets at once.
Right.
But I'm looking at like, this is definitely a problem with a couple frets and the rest are fine. I'd rather experiment on a couple than like trash my whole fretboard and then also have to invest in a piece of gear that's kind of expensive compared to the guitar. I've already bought like the cheapest Bigsby imaginable to put on this thing.
Right.
And then I've got a Bigsby bridge. So I'm already like $60 deep on this.
Jeez.
And then I put new tuners on it that were gifted to me by Dylan from
Dylan McCurchie.
Yeah, from Dylan Talks Tone and Dylan Pickups
and Dylan Guitars.
Dylan Cables, Dylan baseballhats.com.
I don't think DylanBaseballhats.com is one of them.
Dylan retractable toothpicks. They're toothpicks that fold down for easy storage. He makes everything, is what I'm saying.
That doesn't even make sense.
But he was very kind to send me a set of Grover Minis.
They're really great over there. They've got a lot of helpful advice to give, and their instruments all look really good.
We're talking about Dylan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
They make a lot of pickups. I guess they make pickups for like a lot of different companies where it's kind of like I guess it would be like OEM.
Yeah.
Where
like small builders, like I want a signature pickup, but I don't want to say who it's from.
Yeah, and I guess they are pretty good at working with individuals who like have a specific sound in mind. Like I guess that's a thing that they do.
Sure. I listened to his interview with Clifton Worley when I was flying to Summer NAMM.
Ooh.
And all that information sounds vaguely familiar. I feel like that information was in there. or similar information.
So you're saying that if people want to know more about Dylan pickups, they should go check out the Clifton Worley show.
Yes, go check out the Clifton Worley show. But anyways, I've got some pieces of gear over there I'm going to attach to it. I completely stripped out the post mounts for the stock bridge, and I'm going to put a floating Bixby bridge in its place. So it's just going to be sitting there on the body held in by string tension. And then I'm trying to figure out how to do placement on the knockoff Bixby tremolo right now. I was trying to like eyeball it the other day. I'm like, you're going to screw this up so bad when you drill these holes, Ryan. So my current plan is to like print out a grid.
Oh my gosh.
Matrix to measure it that will line up with the post holes. And then I can for sure get it centered on those post holes.
Unbelievable.
But there's a little bit of a challenge because it's got to overlap the pick guard. The tremolo does, the Bixby. Mm-hmm. So I made these metal risers to hold the Bixby up to the same level as the pick guard to get it up over it. So I don't have to cut up the pick guard to have the Bixby sit against the body. So this thing is going to be a total hack job. So far it doesn't look ugly, but I haven't started screwing things together yet.
Is there any chance that this guitar will be done by the 200th episode?
I'd really like it to be. I'd really like to bring it and have people be able to look at it and be like, wow, Ryan, you really goofed this thing up. By the way, 200th episode. We're going to record it on this Saturday.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
This is being released on a Monday, and we will be doing the 200th episode recording the Saturday after that.
I mean, that episode will air 3 episodes from now, so it's not like a rush or anyone who like jump to their podcast player and listen to it. But man, it's coming up quick. I can't believe it. It feels like so long ago that we did the 100th too. It was 2 years ago.
It is.
So much has changed since then. I'm gonna like tear up a little bit thinking about it.
I had something pop up.
Yeah, you
the
did.
other day. Shut your mouth.
Hi-oh.
I had something on like memories or whatever that was like.
You had a memory, Steve?
It was like a internet memory.
Yeah,
cyber
memory.
I think it said it was like something 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Though I thought we started this podcast in the spring or like late winter.
No, we started like in January.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like mid late winter.
Okay.
So not quite 4 years, but we are currently close enough that things are cropping up that are being rounded to 4 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like we just came up with the idea for doing this like a little bit ago. And here we are 4 years later, still not making a living at it, but making some money. I guess if I look at it in the grand scheme of 4 years, I should probably stop trying to hustle it so hard.
I don't know, man.
No, things are interesting right now.
Every once in a while, there's a little decent payoff.
Yeah. Things get fun. Things get interesting. All right, let's jump into some ads. Do we have any housekeeping this week?
Yeah, we do. Do we want to do that right off the top right here?
Yeah, let's do the housekeeping.
All right, we got a couple pieces of housekeeping right now. Want to say thanks to Michael Newman for supporting the show. Michael Newman had a song last week. It was the Infinite Jets Glitch song. And then we started putting ourselves on Patreon.
Oh, yeah, that's new.
Patreon.com. You can search for 60 Cycle Hum, I guess.
I think it's literally like patreon.com/60 Cycle Hum.
And there's no benefits to joining through Patreon versus the Podbean Patreon
I think it's
group.
exactly the same.
Or just sending us money through PayPal, though that one's the hardest one to track. And also, anyway. But Michael Newman was the first person to set up through Patreon. So if you already have a Patreon account and what's been holding you back is, I don't want to sign up for Podbean. Those guys are names.
Well, I think the big benefit to Patreon is that it's kind of like PayPal, where there might be better like money exchange sites out there, but PayPal is the one that everyone knows.
Right.
And they immediately trust it. So you tell someone, oh, I've got a Patreon. They're like, oh, I'm already familiar. I can go jump on that and search for you. And there you are. Where the Podbean one is kind of like you have to search through various parts of the website to figure out what to even do.
No, I should update our website.
Probably should.
Our website with this new Patreon information. Patreon.com.
So anyways, at the $10 level, there's all kinds of perks. But basically, the big one is you get to be in the backstage inner circle group where we do all our dirty, dirty gossiping and talk trash about everyone who's not in there. It's so much fun. It's like a sleepover. Wouldn't you say it's like a sleepover, Steve? Like we all like dress up in pajamas and like talk about boys, have a pillow fight.
I don't even remember the last time I had a sleepover.
But you know what you did when you had it? You talked about boys and had a pillow fight.
Okay.
The inner circle. Boys and pillow fights. All right,
I mean, the inner circle is all dudes.
No, there's some ladies in there.
Oh, yeah, the wives of those dudes. You're right. All right. Yeah, so that's that. Let's hit this first ad.
That sounds so patronizing. They're valuable members of our community.
Is it patronizing or patreonizing?
Patreonizing. Let's jump into an ad.
Yeah, Ryan. When you find a genie in a lamp.
Speaking of an inner circle member who has a wife who's in the inner circle.
Yeah, this was sent by Chris Carter. Anyway,
Carter's talk tone.
Carter's this was from the site Wish. It's like a store, I guess. And Ryan, I got one question for you.
Yep.
If you found a lamp and you rubbed it and there was a genie inside.
What do you mean if?
How many wishes do you get from the genie?
You get 3 wishes, Steve.
So if you go to wish.com and you rub the website and you ask for a guitar.
You rub the website.
How many necks do you get on that guitar, Ryan?
You get 3 necks.
You get 3 necks on a Wish guitar.
Oh my gosh.
This is from a company called Psy, TSAI. I've actually heard of these before.
Have you ever heard of like in the whole like Aladdin and the lamp and the genie story of after you make the wish, the genie charges you $280 for the wish? Because that's what this guitar costs. How many dollars is that per neck, by the way?
That is...
it's $290.
Oh, it's $290.
That's
okay.
easier to divide by 3.
No, it's not. It's the same amount of hard.
Because this is the 200 part. Yeah.
This guitar has... is $96.67 per neck.
That's pretty cheap per neck.
Yeah. That's not bad.
And it actually kind of puts it more in the realm of reality than I expected it to, if that makes sense. Because I wouldn't be surprised to see like a $75 guitar on Wish.com.
Here's what I don't understand about this.
Lay it on me, man.
The picture says this is a Psy made by a company called Psy, TSAI. But the description says GE electric guitar, SY-NE-003, 3 necks, basswood or basswood body guitar, music instrument, ES. But if you zoom in on the picture,
it says Ibanez.
The headstocks all say Ibanez.
Oh yeah, they say Ibanez.
Those
sure.
necks are hardtail 12-string. Hardtail 6-string and Floyd Rose 6-string.
Right there in the middle. You got that Floyd in the middle.
Each one is HSH pickup configuration.
This is one of the few guitars where you actually need that monkey grip because this thing is going to weigh a ton.
Here's something I'm confused about.
Lay it on me.
You got a pickup selector switch for the lower guitar and a pickup selector switch for what looks like the upper guitar. How do you select pickups for the middle guitar?
Good question, Steve. I would be really surprised, honestly, if any of these guitars function.
Welcome to Geek House. Features made from qualified material. It has long service life and good performance. Exquisite workmanship. Make it fit for all the accessories perfectly. 3 necks design is very special and cool enough. Nickel alloy string to come with a nice sound. Great for stage performance. Suitable for anyone interested in starting the guitar. Like
what? No, wait, what?
It's for starting so you have all of your options right away.
I mean, when I started playing guitar, it was on a double neck, but a triple neck?
Yeah. One of wonderful gifts for your loved one interested in playing guitar.
No.
This guitar has 18 strings.
Yeah.
But
no.
24. So here's what I want. Hold on. No. It's got 18 strings. So why are they adding up all of the strings but not all the frets? Because it says it only has 24 frets, but really
it has more than 18 strings.
It has 72.
It has 24 strings, Steve.
Oh, that's right. It's a 12-string. So it's got 24 strings. If you add them all together, it's got 24 strings. It's got 72 frets.
This is almost a harp.
Are harps a stringed instrument? Hold on. Are harps a stringed instrument?
Oh, God.
Because you don't play them with a bow.
Oh, come on.
Harps are plucked.
Harps are a plucked stringed instrument.
But
Okay.
but I heard guitars aren't a stringed instrument. Somebody told me that.
They're a plucked stringed instrument. Or strummed. You could bow a guitar, though. Oh,
Yeah.
God. I don't want to have this conversation.
Does Sigur Rós play guitars as a stringed instrument, but I don't?
Besides there being a joke, is there any reason to have a triple neck guitar?
Cheap Trick cover band.
Yeah, but they don't, that's a joke for them. Rick Nielsen doesn't use all those necks. He can't even reach half of them. That's like an 8-neck guitar or whatever, or 7-neck.
I don't know. Sometimes I don't. Yeah, there's no reason.
The thing that's a trip to me,
mental.
because like Wish.com, there's an app for it, and you can go to the website. All sorts of crazy stuff like this for really dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Like, what is the? Do they have a factory where they can put this stuff together, and if they make a dozen of them and they sell, they're cutting a profit on $290?
Probably.
It just seems so far fetched. But like I said, like you wouldn't be surprised if you saw $75 just like Strat knockoff
Right.
on Wish. They're just taking 3 of those and putting them together.
Exactly. It's just a lot of glue.
There's a lot. Well, they're only having to cut 1 body versus 3. So imagine the savings.
Yeah. You do need a larger router.
No, the router can be the same size. You just need a larger piece of wood to start with. This whole thing is ridiculous. For $290, I'm almost tempted to buy it. I wonder what shipping is on it, though. They'd probably hit you with the shipping.
You would only need 290,000 plays on YouTube to break even on that purchase.
God. It would make us legendary, though. They did it. Although there was that video that was made a while back of the guy who ordered the 18-string guitar.
Oh, yeah.
This has more strings than that, by the way. 24 strings.
Good point.
He ordered that 18-string guitar, and the guy that he ordered it from just had like some factory in China make it for him. And apparently they make them for all sorts of people. And it was like a big scam.
You could probably find that guitar on Wish.com.
You probably can. But the video of that thing is just stupid. Like, or of like guitars like that where like the top 4 strings are literally slack and like hanging down, hitting the other strings.
I never actually watched that video because I was so uninterested in it.
Yeah, it was pretty boring. Speaking of boring, do we want to talk about Joe Bomanoso?
Oh my God.
Nope. Who freaking cares anymore? That freaking article.
Josh Bonaruma?
I'm so sick of it popping up. It wasn't ever interesting the first day. It's not interesting the third week.
I should have made a react to that.
Joe Bomanoso? Who cares anymore? Stop talking about him. It's all just clickbait. That guy's like pulling in all the internet bucks. Because you guys click on the article every time it comes up. Oh, what does Joe Momoroso have to say now? Who cares? Who cares? No one cares about that guy anyways. The only people who cares about that guy is my wife's uncle.
Is he a dad rocker?
I saw Joho Bononono walking around Summer Nan, and I felt nothing when I saw him. I was like, oh, there he is. Who cares? All right, let's go on to the topic.
That's a harsh lead-in for our first topic. This is a topic we're going to talk about a website, I guess.
You know, this is technically like really like just shameless self-promotion. We're not promoting ourselves, but there's an element to this that benefits us.
Yeah.
Like financially.
Sure.
We were approached by guitartricks.com. That is the site, right?
Guitartricks.com.
It's a lesson site. I don't remember what the fee is per month. Do you want to look that up?
Yeah, let me see what I can find.
But anyways, we're going to have a link in our show notes and on the YouTube and whatever. And if you click that link and you decide to have an account with them, whether it be a trial account or whether you sign up otherwise, we will get money from that. So that's part of our motivation for talking about this anyways. But another part of it is I've always wanted to like check out one of these sites. So I was kind of excited when they emailed us and like, hey, you want to get in on this? I was like, well, can I get like a code to get into the site and look at the lessons? And they're like, yeah, here it is. Go check it out. So we've both been checking out this site, and I got to say, I'm kind of sold on it.
Yeah, a lot of the videos I watched. I actually watched a decent number of the videos. I only sat down with the guitar on a couple of them. But the videos are like pretty well put together. It's pretty easy to I mean, this, I'm going to say something that's going to sound maybe a little dumb, but I think it's important. Is that the videos are really easy to like pause on specific spots and like jump around.
Well, the way it's structured is really intuitive. And you can tell I'm trying to sell something because I said intuitive.
Do you even know what that means?
Market disrupting here. I mean, there's a paradigm shift. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that like all the lessons have the same format.
Right.
Where it's like whether you're learning just a general like style or genre or you're learning a specific song, you know there's going to be an intro video that tells you what you're going to be doing. There's going to be a gear video that tells you what kind of gear you need to get that sound.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have basically a series of videos that go part by part through the song. It's not going to go through the whole song in each video. It's like, here's just the first verse. Here's the chorus. Here's the bridge. Here's a pre-chorus. You know, here's the lead lines. Here's the chords. All of it is there. You can pick and choose which parts you want to learn. And it's the same format every single lesson. So there's no like I've learned almost everything I know on Tab on the internet. Like that's the generation we're part of.
Yeah.
And that's always been really super sketchy. Like all Tab is written out a little differently. It's all written by people of different skill levels.
Nobody's like writing, like you can never, you have to like listen to the tracks over and over again to really understand what the rhythm is supposed to be. Sometimes you can't even hear what the rhythm is actually supposed to be. So you're just blindly punching away.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cool. Like sitting and watching the videos and like actually having good camera angles on the person playing.
Yeah.
And they sit there and they stop and they're like, now I'm going to do that slower. Now here's a different angle. Now I'm going to talk you through it. Now here it is at full speed. And it's like, it really gives you an opportunity to actually learn what's actually going on. And this is a little bit early, but I think my resolution for 2018 is going to be to get better at guitar. And I already feel like using the site is getting me closer to that.
Right.
I was talking about the Mystery Brain pedal by the Nocturne Brain in the sponsor spot at the beginning. I was able to play the intro part for that because I got on guitartricks.com and I looked up rockabilly as a style and took a couple rockabilly lessons and had some fun just learning like the basics of it. And then I came up with my own parts and came up with my own little ditty, you know?
They have a pretty extensive song database and all of the songs have like instructions. So that's actually a thing that I think is really cool is they have like the lessons and like, oh, learn how to play blues, learn how to play this, learn how to play that, whatever. But they also have like a pretty, like I said, a pretty large song database. So you can kind of like, I know when I was first learning guitar, one of the things that was very like hard for me was because I was taking lessons and they were like, oh, today we're going to play, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star or whatever. And I'm like, it was either stuff like that where I was like, because I was like 12, I was like, this is kid stuff.
Yeah, this is lame.
Like, I don't want to learn this. Or it was like, because the instructor was like in his 40s or 50s or whatever. And so he was like, oh, here's the finger style to Blackbird by the Beatles. And I'm like,
okay.
I'm like 12. I'm like, who's that?
Now that you laid this on me, I'm going to say that I was taking guitar lessons when I first started. I'd already gotten familiar with the guitar. My mom was like, here, I'm going to sign you up for lessons and you can go like learn the rest. And the teacher was like, well, what kind of like songs do you want to learn? I was like, I really like to learn like surf rock songs. Like I'd love to learn like Walk, Don't Run and, things like that. And she's like, a lot of people like to learn the Beatles. You want to learn the Beatles? And that was her way of being like, I don't know how to do that. Here's something I know how to do. GuitarTricks.com has a surf rock section.
Really?
Which was awesome.
Well, they have like a few different instructors. So they have people who are kind of like specialized in these things.
And they don't have a ton of stuff in there, but they have it at all, which is awesome because a lot of places like it's really hard to track down like surf guitar lessons. It's hard to track down resources for it. And they had Walk, Don't Run in there. And for the first time, I've actually sat down and like learned the official parts for most of it. I'm not all the way there, but like I know much more of the song than I actually did after spending like an hour playing along with the tracks one night. Like I'm impressed. It totally works. If you want to learn like guitar parts, like the real parts to real songs, like say you're in a cover band or you're just like want to use it as a learning tool, I'm completely confident in it and I'm completely happy with the experience that I've had with it so far. And I could totally see myself paying for it if I ever needed to. Like, say if I had a gig and I need to learn a song, I'd rather just go to there than like trust a bunch of random tabs or YouTube videos where the person's like just kind of fumbling through it. You know?
Well, it's funny you mentioned paying for it, Ryan. Gosh, this does sound like a spiel.
I wanted to lay it all out there and be like transparent about what we're doing.
So they have like different buy-in packages.
Oh, you're gonna lay it out? Okay,
I'm really gonna lay it out. So they do 3 months at $59, so it's about like $20 a month. Their cheapest one, of course, they have a year-long package that goes all the way down. Like it's at $180, so that's like $15 a month.
Yeah.
So I mean that's like you said, like if you're in like a cover band where you're always trying to like learn new stuff, that's actually pretty cheap because you're probably pulling in way more than $15 a month.
I looked at it when I was first looking at the site, and I think I messaged you about it. Like $59 for 3 months, you said?
Yeah,
that's worlds cheaper than paying for lessons.
Yeah,
and it's way more convenient. You don't have to go to anyone. But it's like I'm sure that's probably what I paid for like 2 lessons when I took lessons back in the day or something like that. And they have stuff that's all over the map as far as difficulty goes. Like if you want to learn something really difficult, they've got stuff. If you want to learn something really easy, like it's all there. If they had just given us a code to check it out, I feel like we would be here saying the same stuff, even if it wasn't like, oh, click on the link if you go use the service and we'll get a cut back.
So we're going to have a link in the description of this episode if you want to check it out. It's an affiliate link. Basically, you click on it and you go there, and if you sign up, then we get a little coin.
Yeah.
But like Ryan said, like we've both been digging into it, checking things out, and like it's a really cool site. They claimed that they were like the first online. Like they basically invented online guitar instruction.
They have videos on there where I think I saw the date on it, and I was like, "Dang, this has been up here for a long time."
I guess they started in like 1998.
Whoa! How did they have video up? They must have been sending discs out.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Jeez,
I haven't been looking at the dates on videos, but check it out. Maybe you're like, oh, I already know all this stuff. That's cool too. But if not. If you've been looking for an online thing to do, then check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for putting up with our spiel here.
Good grief.
Jeez Louise, we're a bunch of sellouts. Do you feel dirty, Steve?
Nope. I mean, I do, but not because of this.
I feel totally clean. I'm just going to wash myself in that warm, cleansing glow of the money that we earned,
I've
Steve.
been in the lab all day, so I'm a little greasy.
Yeah.
All right, this next ad was sent to us by Brendan Cooper. This is a short fretless.
Yeah, it is. It's got you by the short fretless, doesn't it, Steve? I showed Steve this picture when we were discussing ads, and his eyes got so wide. I've never seen so much white in your eyes, Steve.
I still don't understand completely what is going on here.
Well, I think the way to describe this is that we're looking at what appears to be a Strat body.
Yeah.
With a really strange Telecaster neck on it that has a fretboard that extends way down into the body almost to where the middle pickup should be.
Yeah, it's got one of those like floating fretboards.
Yeah, like from like a stand-up bass, and it's fretless.
Yeah.
Looking at the headstock, it looks like it used to be a 5-string bass headstock. Because is one of the things I've been trying to figure out about this. There's a middle tuner missing, and then there's 4 bass tuners.
I think this was a guitar neck that's maybe been modified. I don't know.
I think this is a custom deal. I think this used to be a 5-string bass neck, and then the person was like, I'm not using the 5th string. I'm going to put on a 4-string
All
bridge.
3 of the pickups in this are Stratocaster pickups.
Yeah. And like 2 of them are connected. Oh, no, that's a thumb rest. I see what's going on.
Yeah, that's a thumb rest.
So I think those 2 that are close together that are in the traditional like middle position are humbucking with each other for like a P bass sort of sound.
Okay.
And then you've got a bridge single. It's not even bridge. It's still so far away from the bridge. And by the way, the bridge on this thing is all the way at the butt end of the guitar, like down where the strap connects. So like, and then they've got this big black pickguard that covers up where the normal Strat bridge would be.
So all this says is, I pulled it up on Reverb. It says short scale fretless bass strung with flat wound strings, $125. There are 2 pictures. Those pictures do not really give you any additional details.
And then otherwise, it's got a three knob Strat set up with a 5-way switch and a Strat output jack. And the whole thing is painted like matte black. $125, local pickup only. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to guess that this thing doesn't suck to play. I bet it's functional to play.
I will go one step further. This is apparently located in Eugene, Oregon. If it wasn't for the fact that I really don't want this in my house from a space, right. I'm like floating idea in my head, because I know we have a few listeners in the greater Oregon area.
Someone go buy this.
Just saying like, hey, can someone go pick this up for me? I'll pay you. But then it's that plus shipping. Now that would be like $200.
Yeah, easily.
And that's,
this thing is
$125.
So funky. There's no frets to buzz out on this thing with, and the bridge, because there's no frets, it doesn't matter where the bridge is. But the bridge is so low down that you're gonna get like a long scale bass scale out of this thing. I'm fumbling all my words. I'm so Twitter-pated over this thing. It's so bizarre and so funky. That headstock, it has to be a custom neck. Like, look at the spacing in between the nut and like the up curve of the headstock. Unless they cut away at it to cut away an extra tuning peg hole. I don't know. It looks so weird. It just so bizarre.
There's a lot of not quite right going on here.
It looks like it was made by someone in a small town who saw a picture of a guitar one time. Like a town that like is like in a third world country or something like that. It's got that.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I don't know. Like, there's a lot about this that is like, it's like a rat rod. Like a rat rod. I get a rat rod vibe off of it. Obviously, it's not like the garish colors or whatever that you would normally associate with a rat rod, but like just the overall concept, like I feel like this was all very intentional.
Oh, it's very intentional. It looks like it was put together with a lot of thought. There's nothing about this that makes me think, oh, this is a disaster and it just won't play. Like, this should in theory play. It'll have like a stand-up bass sort of fretless feel to it.
Right.
It's so bizarre. I wonder what it sounds like with Strat pickups, though. It's not going to sound super deep or bassy, will it?
I don't know. That's another reason I'm interested.
And $125. Like, this person isn't so delusional that they think that it's worth something special because they put special work into it. They realize this is a pile of junk at this point and that it's like a niche thing.
Right.
They might even feel like a 125 is too much. I bet if you offered them 90, they might take it. It's just bananas. You got to look at the pictures of this thing on the links in the show notes.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeez Louise. All right. Do you have anything else to say about it?
No, sir. But what I will say is this next topic was sent by Hunter Newell. And he says, why is the guitar community, he wants to know why the guitar community is predominantly blues or metal focused.
Follow the money, man. That's where it's at. It's probably where like all the album sales are. Like everything that's been like a top selling like guitar based recording for decades has been either blues or like blues rock based or metal based. Like, they're huge scenes that are self-supporting. There's always, old dudes and young dudes out there buying gear and music that orients itself around those two genres. And they're just easy targets because of that.
Well, so blues, I think in a sense, blues because it's a traditional music.
Yeah.
I think is pretty resistant to change.
Oh, absolutely.
So basically,
people still have just giant boners for Eric Clapton and for Muddy Waters and for the Rolling Stones, or Muddy Waters like cover band.
Joan Bonoromo.
Jono Bonoromo.
So I think with blues, like there's that, And I think, people are always going to appreciate some level of guitarness, I guess.
Yes. Well, there are two genres that are just undefeatable as guitar acts. Like, name a metal band that isn't guitar based.
Right.
Jethro Tull. I got nothing after that.
Well, and I'm sure people are gonna, you can jump on Facebook and be like, "What about this metal band? What
Sure,
about? I mean, what about
you go to a heavy metal music festival? You're gonna see a lot of guitars. You're gonna hear a lot of.
I'm
guitars.
sure there are a few, like if you venture into like some more like maybe industrial sided metal.
Even that has guitars.
It has guitars, but maybe not like guitar is like the
Ministry's got
predominant.
tons of guitars.
Sure.
I wonder if anyone is surprised who's listening
That you know about Ministry?
that I know about Ministry. And it's not just because I play praise and worship, okay?
Wow. No. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I just think some of that is like those are two genres that tend to be the most resistant to
absolutely.
to change.
I think hundreds of years in the future, there's still going to be metal bands and there's still going to be blues rock bands like doing their thing. I think they're going to become like folk acts.
Right.
Where it's like,
right.
Oh, afternoon in the park wouldn't be an afternoon in the park without a metal band playing in the distance.
Oh my gosh.
I
think the other side of that is like, I think metal at a subconscious level, at least, is still like connected to like the rebellious early roots of electric guitar.
Sure. Well, it's also connected. They're kind of like, how when things are so far on other ends of the spectrum
right.
that they almost come back around and connect like a horseshoe shape.
Sure.
Like they're so far from each other as far as like blues being kind of like simplistic, like everyman music. Everyone can kind of play 12-bar blues and play pentatonic scales over it. Where metal is like really prides itself on just this high level of technical proficiency and just
sure.
playing really fast, really clean with a ton of distortion. They both circle around to just being so guitar oriented in their complexity and in their simplicity that they're just locked into being guitar genres. And because of that, it makes them like super marketable to the guitar industry. Like if you are doing a demo video and you're playing metal riffs, you're going to have a built-in audience. If you're doing a demo video and you play blues riffs all the time, you're going to have a built-in audience, which explains why it's taken us so long to get an audience on YouTube. Kind of skipping those built-in audiences, I guess.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. If I was a metal shredder, there would be a built-in audience for our channel. If I was, like a super bluesy guy, there would be a built-in audience of old dudes.
Right. So someone, Adam Dolhanic, the inboxer, kind of followed up with this and asked if we had any thoughts on why country music, which is probably the most popular or mainstream of guitar-driven music, why it's not a bigger part of the gear
popular in the
community.
U.S.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, sure.
Yeah, it might be true globally too. I don't know.
I don't know if it's true globally, but like at the same time, like.
But once you factor in guitar music, it might be one of the most popular guitar music.
I
in the world.
think in terms of just general guitar music, and also like blues is I don't want to say it's strictly an American art form, but. And of course, you've already named off Clapton, and somebody else will say Rolling Stones, and I'll just be like, whatever.
Bono Joe D'Amato.
Isn't that guy American?
Yeah, whatever.
But
I see what you're getting at. Your name. I've had enough of the Scotch now. I don't care anymore.
But I think blues is still fundamentally like considered like an American art form, even though it is a more global. I'd say it's Western, like a Western music.
Yes.
And I guess the counter argument to country would be Keith Urban, which is kind of an interesting.
Where's Keith Urban from?
He's from Australia.
Shows what I know about country, man. I had no idea.
So that is kind of an interesting comment though, because I don't really know what the answer is, except maybe to say that like I think the most popular country music, I think part of what drives music as being part of the guitar community as a whole is whether or not, or is the prominence of the instrument in the hands of like a player. So there's certainly like country guitarists that are big names as both artists and as players. Brad Paisley, Keith Urban, those types of guys. Going back, guys like Buck Owens, even Dwight Yoakam just got, I think, a signature Gretsch or Fender or something. Oh, trick question. Gretsch is Fender. Oh, sucker. Is Gretsch still part of Fender?
I don't know, actually.
Yeah, anyway, I'm like 90% sure it is.
They're at NAMM. They're in their own booth. They're not with Fender stuff. They're over in that booth that shares with like Charvel.
Yeah, which is also...
so it might be Fender side brands?
Yeah, I think they're side brands.
Yeah.
Anyway, feel free to correct me when I'm wrong. I just don't really care. That's not true. I care. Yeah. I care about some things sometimes. So I think the availability of faces, and I think like in a rock environment, I think the fan base in like a metal, well, obviously in like blues, like your fan base, your artist, your main artist tends to be whoever the front man is, and that front man is generally, it tends to be that guitar player.
Right.
Whether, like you said, Muddy Waters, Hendrix, B.B. King, like these are all, even, though less blues and more, I don't know, fusion. I don't know what you call them. Like a guy like Santana. I'm thinking about like artists who are even like who are the frontmen of like instrumental bands who aren't necessarily singers. By thinking country music, the music focus of the genre tends to be vocal.
Yes,
and so you don't. Sometimes you hear about guys who are players, but for the most part, like the vast majority of your guitarists, your frontmen guitarists in country acts are just playing acoustic guitar.
Yeah. Well, here's what I've got to say.
And half the time that acoustic guitar is a prop.
And that's what I'm getting to. As someone who's very much an outsider to country music as a whole, like I'll listen to old stuff, but I'm always been way out of touch with whatever's going on currently with country. The few times I've seen like a country performance like on TV or whatever, if I'm looking up like a music video or whatever, trying to brush up on someone that's being talked about, the thing that I always get the impression of from country acts, and I'll start by giving a counter example. Like you go listen to a rock and roll song, whether it be modern rock or whether it be blues rock or whatever, there's very specific guitar parts you're hearing. You're hearing the rhythm guitar and you're hearing the lead guitar.
Right.
And there might be a little bit of layering of a couple of those, but it's usually just two guitars that you're hearing at a time. You go watch like a country video, there'll be like 6 acoustic guitars on stage. There's a lot of acoustic guitars being played. There's a lot of electrics being played, and it's more mixed like a big studio album sort of sound.
Right.
Where like no one instrument is jumping all the way out. But like you're seeing all these people on stage all playing acoustic guitar, and you can't really hear any of them.
Sure.
So it's like there's a lot of guitar in country, but it's not like, it's like you were saying, it's personality driven, it's frontman driven, it's singer driven. Like you're not sitting there like, I can really hear that third guitar. Like that part is just really killing it.
Right.
And for the most part, the acoustic guitar in the hands of the lead singer might just be a prop. They are playing it. They might be playing the exact right notes, but it's the sort of thing where maybe on stage it's a prop to allow them to stay in time with the band. What they play or don't play doesn't really matter too much to the song. That's just, prop. Which there's nothing wrong with it. That's totally fine. I'm not going to dog on that ever.
Did you finish?
Yeah. Do you feel like that's a fair assessment?
I think that's fair. There can be a lot of instrumentation. I think also it's like I said. I think it's a fan base driven, and I think there might be at least a little bit of hesitation from players maybe, where I think maybe if you are a player in the guitar community, like if you're in the right place, I imagine like a place like TDPRI might have a lot more country players on it since they're a Telecaster forum. But I think that you run into a thing where for a long time, like country has always been kind of running alongside pop.
Yeah.
And I think only maybe in the last 10 years, at least in my experience, only in the last 10 years has country really started to... I say it's always run alongside pop in the sense that it's always been pop, but it's always been kind of like anti-pop.
Sure.
Where if you listen to, if it was 1993 and you just bought the new Beastie Boys album, you weren't also buying the new Garth Brooks album.
Right.
Whereas,
well, probably not. I bet that happened a lot, but this wasn't the stereotype.
Sure. Whereas in 2017, you might go to the store and buy, like, I think there's a much larger fan base of people. In
2017, you're not going to a store to buy anything.
Well, sure. Okay, if you're going on iTunes,
right,
and you're buying the latest.
Even then, it's more like you're making your Spotify list,
right? But you're putting your Florida Georgia Lions and your Luke Bryans, on the same playlist as your Young Thugs and Migos and whatever. Like country
I'll
music,
take your word for it.
Country music is much more of a club music, whereas whereas I think like back in the day, like we in San Diego we have a club called In Cahoots. It's a country western
is it still
bar.
Around?
It's still around, and I think back in the day it was like a novelty thing. Now it's like it's still a novelty thing, but it's like a novelty thing where like back in the day I think it was more for older people. Now it's like, oh, you're 21, you like country, then we're going to In Cahoots.
Damn,
let's get down.
They put on line dancing.
Put on your tightest jeans, the men and the women, and we're going to In Cahoots. Grab your gingham shirt.
Yeah, maybe we should go on a field trip there, Steve. See what it's all about.
I don't think we should do that.
You don't think we should go to In Cahoots
together? That sounds like
together?
an awful idea.
Let's both put on some tight pants and go to In Cahoots.
Okay. I see where you're going here.
You and me together.
So I think there is like that. There is some of that, and it's the same idea that within the guitar community, you have a guy like John Mayer, who people who have listened to his albums and like sat down might be like, oh, this guy is like a really good guitar player. But people who are in the guitar community who have only heard him on the radio are like, this guy's a fraud. Like he just writes pop songs. Why is everybody going crazy about this guy? I don't care.
Right.
John Mayer. Who does he think he is? Joe Bunamusii?
Bunamusii? That's a ridiculous made up sounding name, Steve.
Good old June Bunamusii.
June Bunamusii. He's one of my favorites. I listen to anything he says about everything. I feel like we've beat this topic to death. Should we move on?
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of, Ryan.
We need a real conversation starter.
Let's do we have any good conversation pieces?
Well, we have one right here sent to us from Jesse Micah Emery. Did I spell his name right this time?
You did. Good job. I'm proud of you. Proud of you, buddy.
Sharing and growing over here.
Yeah.
So this is a vintage 6L6 GC tube used as conversation piece for $15. Do you want to start the conversation, Steve? What have you got to say about this GC tube here, the 6L6?
Yeah, the first comment I have on this is, what?
I have a question. Oh, what the hell?
I have a question. Huh?
What? It is a tube with a little tiny blonde wig on it.
A pair of
Don't turn off the podcast. Keep listening. I'm going to keep describing it.
A pair of googly eyes.
It's got googly eyes on there and a cute little red mouth. It is just adorable.
Oh, totes adorbs.
Totes adorbs for sure. It's in Portland. I wonder if this tube is still functional and what would happen if you plugged it into an amp.
Everything would melt.
Everything looks very meltable, that's for sure. If you left this out like on your counter and company came over, what kind of conversation do you think it would start?
What?
I don't know. I'm just trying to like start a conversation here, Steve, with this conversation starter.
Maybe
say-
it's supposed to help you start a conversation with the two. Maybe you're supposed to have a practice having conversations with the tube.
Oh, so you start a conversation with the tube,
Yeah.
and then you practice it for when you're with a real person.
It doesn't say. Does it say conversation starter? It just says conversation piece, right?
What do you think this little tube's name should be? If you're going to talk to it, you got to name it.
I don't know, man.
I have a perfect name in my head.
Okay.
Tubey. It's little Tubey over here. I think we found a profile picture for our old best friend Tubey. What do you think, Steve? Is this a picture of Tubey? To be or not to be?
All right. So thanks to Nocturne Brain for sponsoring this episode. If you want to learn more about their pedal, the Mystery Brain, head on over to thenocturnebrain.com. They also have a bunch of other pedals. Ryan also owns the Fez from them.
The Fez, like if you're familiar with my band, the Fez is literally on every single song on our album. It's been my main pedal for a long time for my surf rock band, and it was one of the big reasons for putting together the 50/50. So I've been a big fan of Nocturne Brain for a long time. I was really excited when Tavo hit me up and it's like, hey, want to do a demo? I was like, hell yeah, I want to do a demo.
Yeah,
I think the Mystery Brain is a great pedal. Go check out our demo of it, by the way.
Also, big thanks to our frequent sponsor, Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture. Couture. Head on over to sinusoid.com. They make cables.
And smiles.
This week's song is sent to us by Bobby Scott.
Bobby.
Tell
me about Bobby Scott's song.
This song is called From Ambient to Explosive. He used a Fender Mexican Strat, a Music Man Stingray bass. He used a Strymon Timeline and Big Sky. He got his fuzz tones from an Analog Man Sunface with a high gain mod.
You can do it, Steve.
For his amps, he used a Marshall 1987X clone, and for clean sounds, he used Bias amps, Fender and Dumble impulses, and a modded Fender Blues Jr. He put his bass through a bias set of Ampeg SVT with an 8x10 impulse, and it was recorded at his studio, which is called Nuclear Warehouse Studios.
Cool.
You can check them out on soundcloud.com/The Nuclear Warehouse. And this song again is called From Ambient to Explosive. Hope you love it.
Later, guys.
Okay, bye.